Sometimes the Gems of War team is all about the first 3 troops. They are literally the bread and butter of your team, leaving that 4th slot kind of empty, a little bit vacant. So what do you do with it? Do you just pop a random troop in there knowing that you're rarely, if ever, going to cast them? No. In this Gems of War video, I'm going to show you some of the best troops in the game, which are absolutely perfect slot fillers. You can put these in a 4th slot in literally any team in the game and still get huge benefits from them. And just for clarity, the troops I'm going to show in this video must be usable in literally any team using any mana colour. So that cuts out troops like Ulor here, because even though that is a really good superb 3rd trait, Ancient Chill, a Freeze and Fairy Fire, a random enemy when matching blue gems, it's only usable if you use blue in your team. If you don't use blue, you've got no reason to collect blue, so this doesn't work in any team. Really important that, so that discounts all those empowered troops as well, which convert one colour to another and things like that, because it's only usable basically if you're going to convert that colour to one you're going to use. Right, just to make it clear, these are not in any particular order, but I am putting my favourite few up the top, and we can play a mini game at the same time, see if you can guess which one I'm going to stop on. There's 2 or 3 actually on this page, but who is going to be first? Well, it's going to be Queen Aurora. Don't see her very much in many teams, but is one of the perfect spare slot fillers. Take a look at that 3rd trait. Gain bonus mana from all the gem matches. So this can literally go in literally any team, when the first 3 troops are the main bulk of what your team does. They're literally the 4th troop hardly, if ever, gets cast. This is a perfect thing to put into the team, because you literally get bonus mana from every single gem match on every single colour. Fantastic. Next one up is a bit of a favourite. Experienced players are not going to have too much trouble guessing which one this is going to be here, and it is the good old Possessed King. Again, it's all about that 3rd trait. Explode 2 random gems on 4 or 5 gem matches. Really good. Basically, like, there's a lot of teams where you can get like conversions of colours, you can create storms, which give you a better chance of getting those 4 matches, and every time you do that, you explode 2 random gems, and do not underestimate how good that is. That generates a lot of extra mana. So the Possessed King, another one, really good to pop into that 4th slot. And on to the next one. Who's next? Again, it might be a bit obvious to some people, but yep, let's pick old Leprechaun. Can't go wrong with Leprechaun in a team where the first 3 troops are doing all the heavy lifting. Start battles with full mana if you get that 3rd trait. Absolutely fantastic, and the fact that it just explodes green gems, most of the time there will be green gems on the board, and this is absolutely fantastic. You can just cast Leprechaun, blow up them gems, and get a bunch of mana absolutely straight away. Great stuff. Who is going to be next? Who is going to be next? Well, it's going to be Koranos. Good troop, love it, and that 3rd trait is absolutely superb. Essence of Time. Enchant all allies when I get an extra turn. Not a 4 match, just an extra turn. Anything that gives you an extra turn will activate Essence of Time. So really good, and all your allies are enchanted. Absolutely superb stuff. If you're enjoying this video so far, it'd be really helpful if you bash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. Maybe even consider joining, that really helps me out as well. And even share the video amongst your friends and other Gems of War colleagues. Who are we going to have next? Who are we going to have next? Well, it's got to be Meore. Absolutely superb troop to use as a spare slot filler. Death Below. 80% chance to kill the last enemy on 4 or 5 gem matches. That's awesome. All you got to do is get some 4 matches and you got a chance to just kill the last enemy in the team. Absolutely superb. Who is next? Who is next? Another slightly tricky one to guess, maybe for unexperienced people with the game, but I am going to pick the Archdeva. Take a look at that 3rd trait, Sanctuary. Barrier and Bless a random ally when matching 4 or more gems. Now, I know some people are thinking, hey, but what about Queen Bee? She cleanses all allies on a 4 match, which is the whole team. This is just one ally, and it's just Barrier and Bless. But Barrier is really good, going to save you from 1 instance of incoming damage. And Bless is really good as well. It's not just a cleanse, it's like a super cleanse. When you get Blessed, you get all the benefits of effectively being impervious at the same time, which is really cool. That's why Sanctuary is a very good trait indeed, and why Archdeva is not a bad troop to pop into that 4th slot. So how many of you managed to guess right so far? I guess quite a few people would have managed to guess correctly so far, because some of them are kind of obvious and they stand out a little bit like a sore thumb, a little bit like good old Misty here, Mistralis. Fantastic 3rd trait. Enchant all allies on 4 or 5 gem matches. Really good trait, making it viable in pretty much any team. And the fact that she gets an extra turn with a spell as well actually makes the spell really useful at the same time. So it will still work in pretty much any team. Awesome stuff. Right, slightly trickier one here. Is anybody going to get this one wrong unless you really know your troops? But it could be one or two different ones here, I suppose. So a chance for people to guess incorrectly. Har har. But I'm going for Pharaoh Nani out of this lot. There's one thing that scares the life out of teams on things like Guild Wars and stuff like that. It is a death mark. Because it just has a habit of just coming out to bite you when you least expect it. And Pharaoh's Curse, look at that. Death mark a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems. Really, really cool. Can work in any team again. Just get 4 matches and you death mark someone. There's a 10% chance they can just pop their clogs the next round. Absolutely superb stuff. And next up we have... who's it going to be? The Turquoise Emperor. Lotus Blessing. 50% chance to bless all allies when matching 4 or more gems. It's only 50% chance, but yeah, the chance to bless all allies on just a 4 match. Really, really cool. You'll be doing that during the game anyway, and that's just going to happen automatically when it activates. Now, a bless is better than a normal cleanse. A cleanse just obviously cleanses you off normally, but a bless is like a super cleanse. You get the effect of being impervious at the same time. Really, really good that. I like that one. Right, so we are done with the mythics. Let me know in the comments if you think I've missed any mythics out that are really, really good in that 4th slot as a spare slot filler. But it doesn't include people like Vanalis, remember, and Ulor, because Vanalis relies on green for the random entangle and things like that. And Ulor, as I mentioned earlier, relies on getting blue. And we don't want to rely on any colours at all. These troops must work in literally any team that we can use. So who's going to be next? It's the first non-mythic. Is going to be the Midnight Queen. 3rd trait, Terror Queen. Inflict terror on a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems. So there's some 4 matches, you inflict terror. And terror, if that's on the bottom troop, and there's a 1 in 4 chance it's going to be that, it's almost like basically death mark. They'll just run away from the battle as if they never existed. It's like an instant kill if that happens. Really, really good. So that is a really handy one as well. The Midnight Queen. Now I'm just going to throw these ones into the middle of the video. These tarot card ones are actually pretty interesting. The ones that do a random status effect to an enemy or ally just by casting a spell. Like the Chariot here, grant a random status effect to a random ally when an ally casts a spell. It can be really good. If you've got nothing to do with that 4th slot and you've got something like this, then you haven't got any other mythics, then absolutely why not? And a lot of them do the opposite as well. A bad tarot. Inflict a random status effect on a random enemy when an ally casts a spell. Very, very useful indeed. And some of the early ones, like the ace ones, let's take a look at them. Some of them are actually not too bad as well. This sort of thing is a little bit lame. Give 4 life to all allies when matching 4 or more gems, but still viable in any team. And this one, again, gives a random status effect to a random ally. And Ace of Wands is sort of interesting. Give 1 magic to all allies when matching 4 or more gems. So that's actually pretty effective as well. Another one here. Who's it going to be? Has anybody guessed? I think people will start guessing a bit wrong now, unless you really know your troops. But it is going to be Luna. Hidden Trap. Explode a random gem when matching yellow gems. Now think about how, in general, people think like the Possessed King is just superb. For that unstable possession, whatever it's called, where you explode 2 random gems making a 4 match. This is only exploding 1 gem, but all you got to do is get yellow. Not even a 4 match. This is actually really, really good. And 2 Lunas in a team, which are actually really effective side by side, by the way, because they inflict all those status effects and do damage to all enemies. Then you will actually explode 2 random gems when matching yellow. Really good. Luna. And next up, we have one of my favourite troops against skull teams if the colours are viable. Sylvanin Meore. Dragon Vines. Entangle the first enemy on 4 or 5 gem matches. That's all you got to do. Providing the top enemy isn't impervious or immune to entangle, just get a 4 match and you will entangle that top troop, meaning any skulls that come along, you're going to receive no damage. Pretty decent spell as well if you can pop it in there for extra damage and some mana gen. But yeah, Dragon Vines. Love it. Next up, we have a bit of a fun one. Who can guess what it is out of this little motley crew here? Well, it's going to be Nyarmel. Interesting 3rd trait is Psychic Backlash. Stun a random enemy when an enemy casts a spell. So it can be fun if you've got like Nyarmel and you haven't got any of the other troops I've mentioned previous, which are probably better in one way or the other. But yeah, stun a random enemy when an enemy casts a spell. So when an enemy casts a spell, they stun one of their own troops, which is actually quite funny to watch at the same time. Look at all these queens. Which one is it gonna be? It's gotta be one of them. I'm sure most people know what's coming next, even though it goes slightly against my own rules, but it is Queen Beatrix. Royal Honey. Cleanse all allies when matching 4 or more gems is really, really good. Absolutely love that. But it is only viable, of course, if you do receive some negative status effects playing against whichever team you're against. But yeah, too good not to include, though. Cleanse all allies when matching 4 or more gems. And next up we have the Weird Stag. Interesting one. This is not perfect, but I thought I'd include it anyway because it is technically interesting fun. Moon Fever. Inflict lycanthropy on a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems. Not as good as some of the other troops, but if you happen to have the Weird Stag but not the others, then this can be very interesting indeed, because lycanthropy has a 15% chance to transform the enemy into a beast, which can actually work against you sometimes if you're really unlucky, but most of the time it shouldn't do. And yeah, Moon Fever. Quite a fun one, that. And we come to the last one of this little list. If I've missed anybody out, this is like a short list of my favourites. If you've got somebody who you absolutely love as that kind of really useful 4th slot fella, then chuck it in the comments below and I'll mention it and see how good it is. But this one here, I'm going to pick Starflower as my last one. Not only is the spell really good anyway, doing damage to all enemies boosted by ally and enemy Fae, it also has a summon and a chance to transform a random enemy into a pixie. If you don't cast that, you just leave her there sitting at the bottom. She's still really effective because of Fae Link. 50% chance to fairy fire a random enemy at the start of my turn. Really, really cool. Just 50% extra damage if she decides to activate that. And you haven't got to do anything. She just sits there and that happens, like most of the troops in this video, completely automatically. So there it is. There's the video. If you enjoyed it, found it useful or helpful, it'd be really cool if you bash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. Maybe even consider joining. It's the lowest price that YouTube would let me set it at its basic level. And feel free to share the video amongst your guild members and other players. Things like that. But thanks for watching. Bye for now.